Hi everyone, how are you all? I believe you are all keeping well. So stay at home and be safe. Well, we have completed in our previous session the Brave Potter, that is reading C in Unit 2, Part 1. Okay, and today we are going to complete Part 2 and the entire lesson, The Brave Potter. Okay, let's have the recap of what we have done in our previous session, that is The Brave Potter Part 1. One day there was thundering and lightning in the forest. It was raining heavily, and old tiger ran through the forest for a shelter and saw an old thatched hut. He lay down there. The hut belonged to a woman. The woman came into the hut and began to shout at the leak of her house. The tiger thought that the leak might be a dangerous animal. Meanwhile, a drunken potter came to the woman's hut searching for his missing donkey. He saw the tiger and, thinking that the tiger was his donkey, brought home and tied him with a chain. Next morning, people saw the tiger at the potter's house and were amazed at the bravery of the potter. The potter also did not understand how his donkey could change into a tiger. So I believe you have understood the part 1 of your lesson, The Brave Potter. Have you? Now let's see the part 2. A few years later, war broke out between the potter's country and a much stronger neighbor. The king immediately gathered a large army. But he realized that it was not strong enough to save his country from defeat. Okay, now what happened after a few years? There was a war between Potter's country and the opposite neighboring country. Okay, the neighboring country was stronger than the Potter's country. So the king realized it. Okay, the king realized that his country is not that strong enough to save his country from the neighboring country. Okay, he needed a hero to lead his army. Where could he find such a brave man? The king hurriedly called his ministers together and asked their advice. So, when the king realized that his country was not strong enough to fight against the neighboring country, and he was in need of a hero who could really lead his army, so he thought to himself where he can find such a brave man, brave soldier. So the king called all his ministers seeking the advice. Okay, he called on his ministers to seek the advice how to go about the war. Do you understand? One of the ministers remembered the story of the brave potter. Your Majesty, the minister said, I know someone who can lead our army. So, when the king summons his ministers to seek the advice, one of the ministers remembered the story of the brave potter. Okay, this is happening after few years. So, please remember. So, one of the ministers says to the king that he knows someone who can really lead the army. Fine? The king immediately sent a messenger to the potter's house. When the potter realized that he had been made general of the army, he became frightened. The king ordered him to go to the palace the next day. Do you understand? When the minister reminds the king that there was a potter who had a brave deed, the king immediately sends a message to the potter's house. And when the potter realizes that he was made as general of the army, he becomes more frightened because actually what actually happened. He was not actually a brave man. Fine. So when he realizes that he was made as a general of the army, the potter becomes very frightened, and the king orders Potter to come to the palace the next day. Fine. How could he, a poor ignorant potter, become the general of the army? He had never carried a sword, nor had he ever ridden a horse. Now, do you understand the condition of the potter? Now, by profession, the man is a potter, right? He makes, earthen pots. Okay? And you can just imagine this poor ignorant potter, how he can become the general army? And he never carried a sword or he never rode a horse. Fine? Oh, I shall die because of that stupid donkey, groaned the potter to his wife. He has only brought us trouble. So, when the potter realizes that he was made as a general of the army to go for war against a neighboring country, he says, okay, he says that it's all because of that stupid donkey. Now, why does he say because of that stupid donkey? You remember the story? He had mistaken the tiger as a donkey and he brings. Okay, that is the reason he says, because of that stupid donkey, now I am in trouble. Fine. The next day he went with his wife to the capital. The king was pleased to see him and ordered the potter to lead the army into the battle the next day. So the potter was ordered to come to the palace, right? So he comes with his wife to the capital, and the king was very pleased to see the potter and ordered the potter to lead the army into the battle. Do you understand? The enemy were not far from the gates of the city. A splendid house had been prepared for the potter and his wife. The horse, which would carry him into the battle, was ready in the stable. Do you understand? So finally, the potter and his wife were invited to the capital city and they were given a splendid house to live in, and there was also a horse ready for the battle. Okay, the horse which would carry the potter to the battlefield. It was in the stable. Okay. That night the potter could not sleep. He was nervous and worried because he did not know how to ride a horse. Now you can imagine, right? Actually, he has never, carried a sword or had never ridden a horse. So that night the potter could not sleep. He was very nervous. He was very worried. Okay. If I fall off, everybody will laugh at me, he thought. I will get up very early tomorrow and practice riding the horse. So the potter decides, okay, he says to himself, if I fall from the horse, everyone will laugh at him. Okay, if he falls from the horse, everyone would laugh at him. So he decides to get up early in the morning to practice riding the horse. Okay. At dawn, the potter woke up his wife and they went to the stable. They saw the beautiful brown horse ready for its new master. So, you remember the night he decides to get up early in the morning to practice how to ride, right? So now he is ready. The potter woke up, even his wife, and both of them went to the stable. And they saw the beautiful brown horse, and it was ready for the new master. Who is the new master? It's the potter. Fine. Oh, how tall he is, sighed the potter. I shall never be able to climb onto his back. So finally, both potter and his wife come to the stable, right? And they see the brown horse. And the potter sighs. Okay, he says that the horse was tall and he says that he will never be able to climb on its back. Okay, it will be difficult for him to climb on it. Fine. Put this bench beside him, said his wife, and use it as a step. So when the potter says brown horse, he says it's very tall and it would be very difficult for him to climb on. So his wife brings a bench and places it beside him and says, use it as a step and climb on to the horse. Even with the help of the bench, the potter had much difficulty climbing onto the horse's back. When he was finally seated, he found that the saddle was very slippery. Please tie my feet to the stirrups, dear wife, said the potter. Otherwise, I shall certainly fall off. It's clear, right? So, even with the help of the bench, the potter found it much difficulty to climb onto the horseback. And finally, when he sat on the horse, the saddle was very slippery. Now, what is saddle? Saddle is, it's a seat which is placed on horseback to make the horse rider to sit. It is a seat where the horse rider sits, and it was very slippery. So, the potter thought he might slip and fall. So, he asked his wife to tie his feet to the stirrups. Stirrups are straps. Okay, so he asked his wife to tie his feet. Fine. His wife found some rope and bound her husband's feet tightly to the stirrups. She then passed the rope underneath the horse and tied the two stirrups together. She also passed a length of rope around the potter's waist and tied him to the saddle. So when the potter asks his wife to tie his feet, what is his wife doing? His wife found some rope and she bound him tightly to the stirrups, to the straps. And she then passed the rope beneath under the horse and tied the two stirrups together, two straps together. And she also passed a length of rope around the potter's waist to the hip, okay, to the hip and the saddle, okay, which means he was completely tied to the horse so that he won't fall off from the horse. Clear? Now, please tie my hands to his neck, said the potter. Meanwhile, the big brown horse was impatiently pawing his hooves on the ground. When the potter's wife tried to pass another rope around its neck, the horse suddenly jumped free. Okay, so when the potter asked his wife to tie him or tie his feet, we see the wife completely ties him to the horse, right? And again, the potter asks his wife to tie his hands to the neck of the horse. So, meanwhile, the wife of the potter does it, the horse becomes very impatient. Okay, pawing his hooves on the ground. Now, what is meaning of paw? Do you know what is paw? Pawing is touching something repeatedly with the paw. Now, what is meant by hooves? It is the hard part of the feet of some animals like horses. Okay, if you see the foot of the horse, you can understand, right? So, the horse became very impatient. Finally, it jumped freely out of the stable. Fine? It galloped out of the stable with the potter hanging like a sack of rice on its back. Only the ropes kept him from crashing to the ground. The potter held tightly to the horse's neck and prayed to all the gods to save his life. So, what happened? The horse galloped out of the stable, it jumped out of the stable, and the potter was like, a sack of rice on the back of the horse. Okay, so because the potter was completely tied to the horse, it did not make him fall. So, and the potter held the horse tightly so that he won't fall, and he prayed to all the gods, whomever he know, to save his life. Have you understood? After galloping through the quiet streets, the horse crashed through the city gates and raced across open fields. It leapt over fences and streams and began to head for enemy's camp. So where is the horse going now? The horse passed through streets, okay, and streams, and finally it is entering into the enemy's camp, the neighboring country. Okay. When the potter realized where they were going, he tried harder than ever to stop the horse. He pulled wildly on the reins, but it was no use. The horse galloped on. So, when the potter realized where they were going, now what is meant by they here? The horse and the potter. So, when the potter realized that they were entering into the enemy's camp, he tried his best to stop the horse by controlling with the reins. Reins are straps on the horse. Okay, but the horse galloped, it jumped, and it was entering into the enemy's camp. When they passed a young tree, the potter grabbed a branch, but the horse did not stop. Instead, the tree was pulled out of the ground. A sentry from the enemy camp saw the potter galloping towards the camp with the tree in one hand and his reins in his other hand. So the potter tried his best to stop the horse, but it did not stop, it galloped. So when they passed a young tree, a small tree, the potter grabbed it. He tried to hold of the branch, but the horse did not stop. Instead, what happened? The tree was pulled out of the ground. It was uprooted from the ground. Okay, so what do you see now? The potter is having a tree in one hand, and in the other hand he is having the reins, the straps of the horse. Okay, so this was seen by a sentry. Sentry is a guard at the king's court. Okay, or a soldier. So when a soldier sees that the enemy camp, the potter was coming galloping towards the camp with a tree, they get frightened. Okay? That must be the general who captured a tiger with his bare hands, he thought. Now he has uprooted a tree with one hand. He is not an ordinary man. He is a giant. Run, save yourselves. So when the sentry is a guardian, right, or a soldier at the king's court, when he says, okay, he says, see, I think that must be the guard or the general who has captured the tiger, and now he is coming with uprooted tree in one hand and reins in other hand, and he is not an ordinary man, he is a giant. So let's run away from here to save ourselves, he shouts. Okay, the famous tiger general is coming at the head of a large army to attack us. He has strength of a giant. He has uprooted a tree with one hand. Do you understand? So who is referring here as the tiger general? It's a brave potter. So the sentry who has seen the potter coming with the tree, he says a famous tiger general is coming with his army to attack us. So let us leave. Let us run away to save our lives. Okay, he has uprooted even a tree with one hand. So let's save ourselves from this giant. The frightened soldiers fled. Their king was left by himself in his tent. Hurriedly he wrote a letter begging for peace and apologizing for attacking the country. He left this letter in the tent. Then he jumped on his horse and followed his soldiers. So when the sentry announces this, The soldiers were frightened, so they fled. They ran away from the kingdom, and nobody else was there except the king. The king was left all alone. So the king hurriedly he goes and he writes a letter asking pardon, begging for peace, and asking pardon for attacking their country. Okay, and he leaves a letter there, and he also jumps onto his horse and he runs away. Fine. When the potter's brown horse reached the deserted camp, it stopped. With shaking hands, the potter untied his feet and fell to the ground. When he looked around, he was surprised to find the camp empty. It's clear, right? So finally, when they reached, the potter and the horse reached the enemy camp, the horse, the brown horse, stops. Okay, and with the shaking hands, with a lot of fear, the potter unties his feet and he falls to the ground. And when he looked around, for his surprise, the camp was empty. Nobody was there in the enemy camp. He looked in the king's tent and found the letter. The puzzled potter walked back to the city with the letter in his pocket. He went to his wife and gave her the letter. So, as the potter reached, they found nobody, right? But he found a letter in the king's tent. So, the puzzled, the confused potter took the letter, put it in his pocket, and he goes back to his country and he hands over the letter to the wife, to his wife. Dear wife, he said, never in my life will I ride a horse again. Please take this letter to our king and tell him that the enemy has run away. I am going to bed. His wife ran towards the palace with the letter. So as soon as the potter reaches the house, he says to his wife that he will never ride a horse again. And he says to his wife to hand over the letter to the king that the enemy has run away. So he says to his wife, he hands over the letter to his wife and says, just give this letter to the king and inform him that the enemy camp has cleared or has escaped, has run away. Okay, and he says that he is going to bed. Fine. So his wife ran towards the palace with the letter. When the king read the letter, he was full of praise for his new general. He asked the potter's wife where her husband was. My husband is tired, your majesty. The servants have put him to bed, answered the wife respectfully. So when the potter's wife takes a letter to the king reads the letter and he was very happy, and he was very happy for his new general, that is brave potter, or the potter. Okay, and he inquires about the potter, and the wife says that he was very tired and he went to bed, she says. Okay, let him rest today. Tell him to come tomorrow to receive his reward, the king said. So when the potter's wife says that her husband, the potter, went to bed because he was tired, the king says that let him rest and tells his wife to come the next day to get the reward for his bravery. Okay? Next morning, the potter went to the king's palace. He left the brown horse in the stable and walked to the palace with his wife. The streets were filled with the cheering crowds. They had all heard about this brave action. So the next morning, according to the orders of the king, the brave potter goes to the palace along with his wife. And all the streets were filled with the cheering crowds. So many people were there on the streets cheering and appreciating the brave act that the potter had done. Fine? Look how humble he is, they said to each other. Any other man would ride to the place on a horse, but he is walking like an ordinary man. He is truly a humble and brave man. So there were so many people standing in the streets to cheer the potter, right? And when they saw the potter walking, not riding on a horse, they said, "See how humble he is." Okay, how humble he is, that he is walking like an ordinary man to the king. Okay, and they say he is truly humble and brave man. Now, do you think that actually he does not know how to ride a horse and he was frightened, right? Okay, but people understand this way. Okay. The king rewarded the potter so well that he did not need to work again. The country was peaceful for the rest of his life, and the potter never rode a horse again. So the king was very thankful and grateful to the potter for his bravery act, and he said that he did not need to do any work again, and the country was at peace. There were no any wars again, and the potter decided that he will never ride a horse again. Okay, so well, we have completed the Brave Potter part 2 also. I believe you have understood. Have you? Fine. See you in the next session. Till then, take care. Bye.